Hello everyone, and welcome to the Retro Cellar, where, as we have in the past, we've relocated to another area of the room for the holidays in front of our nerdy Christmas tree here. Today, we'll be taking a look at another one of these Gamesticks, something we haven't looked at in a while on this channel. This one being the X10 Pro Gamestick 4K, although it says it's 8K on the stick. It's probably neither 4K or 8K. Nevertheless, it is running a CPU of using the S905X3, yet another one of these Chinese consoles that seems to like that S905 chip. It also has an ARM Cortex A55 running at 2.0 gigahertz. Its GPU is a Mali G31 MP2. The system it's using is Emulator 4.3. It says it has a 128 gigabyte SD card on it with about 50,000 games on it, which, as usual, means that there's probably a lot of ROM dumps, repeats, games that don't run well on the emulators. We'll see when we check it out, but don't be surprised. It says it has 40 emulators on it. I haven't really looked at it and seen what it has on it, but it lists the PSP, PS1, Mega Drive, NES, SNES, all your Game Boys, arcade, MAME, I believe Dreamcast is on it. And again, anything above PS1 probably won't run very well in this. Dreamcast may or may not. Everything's going to be hit or miss. If N64 is on it, that's probably going to run like garbage. But we'll see when we take a look at it. So how about we take a look at what you get in the box, play a few games on it, and see if this is something that you want to add to your Gamestick collection. Here is our look at the box for the X10 Pro Gamestick. As far as boxes goes, it's a box. And on the outside, basically says, professional game chip, double rocker control, some of the features on it, 2.4 gigabyte wireless controllers, connected with TV, blah, blah. Pretty much the same. A choking hazard. Kids, don't shove this thing down your throat. You could die from it. And again, just a repeat of the same stuff. As you can see here, it says it comes with 64 gigs, the 128 gig that I got, or 256 gigs to give you, I guess, 100,000 games of repeats. Let's take a look on the inside. Oh, that is nice. I got this on AliExpress, so it's from the owner of the store on AliExpress. Very nice of them, I suppose. The user manual, which is as minimalist as you can get. Here it says a list of some of the games. As I said, PSP, PS1, does have Dreamcast, N64. Saturn, very interesting, but I highly doubt anything on that is going to run. Nintendo DS, those usually don't run optimally on these Gamesticks just because, it's a dual screen system. It doesn't translate well to a single screen. CPS, Neo Geo, yeah, it has pretty much the usual stuff. How to connect it to a TV, you plug it in. Here is the actual Gamestick itself, as we saw before. Nothing fancy. Let's see, here is the SD card, if I could get it out. Take a look at it. It's not exactly cooperating here. I will leave it in there. But odds are that it is a generic SD card. So, as I said in the past, these things get easily corrupted. So, if you intend to keep this thing for any period of time, it's better just get a name brand SD card and copy it into that so that you could keep using it basically. But as you can see here, here's some USB ports. It comes with a dongle, which you see here. Just one works for both controllers. So you plug it in here, and that's how you're able to use the controller. And let's see what else we have in here. We have a USB-C. Use that to power the device. You also get an HDMI cable, which is nice that you don't have to use your own. But because of all these systems I do have quite a collection of these. And let's take a closer look at that controller. It's sort of like I guess an Xbox style controller. Doesn't weigh much, but once you put the batteries in, it gives you the illusion of quality, I suppose. But definitely better than the usual garbage that you get with these things. The thumbsticks are really good. ABXY feels pretty decent. Not a fan of this type of D-pad, but from what I gathered with this, you can actually change it out for a typical D-pad, which is probably what I'm going to do. You also have select, home, and start button. You have your L1, R1, L2, R2 trigger buttons. They feel pretty decent as well. Nothing's too bad on it. There's your power button to turn the thing on. But not bad. It'd be interesting to see how well this whole thing functions. So how about we plug this thing in and play a few games. Here is the menu that we are greeted with. Sort of cut off up on the top there where you see the little bouncing PSP logo. But it's not bad. I actually like this this setup, the little wheel you have on the side. But let's just take a quick look around at some of the systems that it runs, supposedly. There's a PSP, PlayStation, Neo Geo Pocket Color, Neo Geo Pocket, Neo Geo, Sega Naomi, Dreamcast, Default, whatever that is. There's 14, well, it says Sega Saturn up at the top, but I don't know what that means. Sega 32X, Sega Mega Drive, Sega Game Gear, Sega Genesis, Sega Mega Drive, Sega Master System, Sega SG-1000, that's cool. The Thomas Wave, you got your ports, Nintendo DS. It says default again, but I think I know what the problem is. So they don't have a logo or anything in there. It's actually Pokemon Mini. So the other one that said default was Saturn with 14 games. So whatever. Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Nintendo 64, Virtual Boy. Interesting. That is not a Virtual Boy game you see playing there on the left. Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Famicom, Nintendo Hacks, Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Famicom, Game & Watch, Super Graphics, PC Engine, PC Engine CD-ROM, these are cool. PC Engine, Vectrex, that is also not a Vectrex game playing there. MSX2, MSX, Intellivision, Odyssey 2, Amiga, Commodore 64, CPS-3, CPS-1, Atari Lynx, 7800, 5200, Atari 800, Atari 2600, MAME, Final Burn Neo, Arcade, Amstrad, Favorites, and All Games. Also has 4-player games listed here and 2-player games. I don't believe... Well, I think there is. If you get another dongle and plug it in there, that also runs 2 controllers. You'll probably play 4-player games on it. But I don't know. We're not going to do that. So how about we start off with something. Should we start off high or low? Let's just see what the Sega Master System has. All right, this layout is cool. Our layout is cool. Has your games listed here and a wheel on the side. So that is interesting. Notice with the D-pad, there's a bit of lag on it for some reason. Not so much. I don't like this D-pad at all. The analog stick's not so bad. Just, I don't know. Okay, to exit a game, all you have to do is press start and select, hit it twice, and then it will take you back to the menu. I guess I should also mention that these controllers run on 2 AAA batteries. All right, by hitting the select button, you get this option menu here where it allows you to filter games by text, jump to game beginning with the letter whatever, select random game, blah, blah, blah. So let us go into the search and do something simple and basic. Let's see, a Sonic game. And what do we have? There we go. I don't know if there's a filter on this or what, but it looks a little bit on the blurry side. I don't know if it translates well on camera, but again, you're looking at a 16-bit system that's kind of stretched out on a big screen TV. This fish always getting it. At the main menu, if you hit the select button, it brings you into an option where you can enter RetroArch. Doesn't look like there's a heck of a lot you could do. So you could do like a menu scale factor, background image, horizontal animation. So you can change things on it. But this doesn't have your typical menu options that you get in RetroArch. It's basically just things to change your menu. So if you want to change the aspect ratio, apparently you have to do it on the TV itself and not in the system. Here's where you can connect to the internet. Something that I don't necessarily recommend with anything that you use from China, however. But that's pretty much all you can do with it. So I could sit here and play the 8-bit stuff and the 16-bit stuff, which are obviously going to play well on here. So how about we get into something a little beefier and try the PSP for starters. So this is running actually pretty decent, and to be honest with you, it actually looks pretty good, surprisingly. I'm driving like crap, but you have to unfortunately use the analog stick on this because the D-pad doesn't work at all. Oh. Ah, so it's the D-pad changes your perspective. Now, how about we try Sega Saturn and see if this runs well on it. Yeah, this D-pad is no good. Wow. So as much as I like the controllers, they don't play very well. The real lag on it. Not terrible, but it's not as responsive as I would like. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put in the other D-pad rather than the circular one and see if that helps. Oh, that's much better. Much better. So use the standard D-pad, not that circular garbage. Because this is much better. Not that I'm playing better, but it feels better. And surprisingly, Saturn is running pretty decent on it. At least this game is. So there's only 14 Saturn games on this. And to give them credit, that is most likely because they don't want to put anything too big on it that it won't run. So they're sort of staying in their wheelhouse. So, I mean, that's not bad, I suppose. It's not running too bad. There's a little glitching and very little bit of screen tearing there, but it's not bad. It's running well as expected. So this doesn't look too bad. There was a little glitching in the beginning, but overall it's not too bad. All right, so this is weird. The L1 works the left flipper, and the B button uses the right one, but it's kind of hanging up there. See that? I don't know what that's all about. Look at that. The ball went right through the flipper. So this isn't functioning well. It's kind of weird. I think we looked at enough games on this thing. Looked at all the beefier consoles on it that basically seem to run pretty well. The big surprise is that Saturn actually runs from what games they did actually put on it. But again, they kind of cherry picked it. But overall, it's not a bad experience at all whatsoever. So that should wrap this up. Well, that was our look at the X10 Pro Gamestick 4K. Well, there weren't really any surprises. It ran about as good as expected. But for $39, it really isn't bad. It's not exactly steel, but there you have it. What I did like about it, however, was the menu on it. It was a really nice menu, easy to navigate. But the big surprise were these controllers, which is probably the best controllers that I've ever gotten with one of these Chinese systems instead of the usual garbage ones. So that was a pleasant surprise. Is it worth it? I think it is. It's not horribly pricey. And as I said before with these things, what I like about them is the portability, that you could just take these things, go to a friend's house, take it into work on the sly, or what have you, take it on vacation with you. And there's a lot of good games on it, and you could get hours of playtime out of it. So for that reason, I would recommend it. And it's probably one of the better game sticks that I've gotten and reviewed on these channels. I think I got one or two more to look at, but I doubt they'll be any better than this is. So without further ado, that is the end of the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.